Like a lot of you, I've been keeping up with what's going on in the news here lately with all these drones flying over New Jersey, and I've been watching it, put out some videos on it, and what's really strange to me is the fact that no one seems to know what these things are. The U.S. government, the most powerful military on earth, can't track these things. When they get close, they seem to go dark.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
The Pentagon's saying that they're not theirs. They're also saying that they're not a foreign countries or foreign adversaries. There was a senator that came out that said they were launched from Iranian drone mothership. That's been debunked. They have found the Iranian ship, and it's 9,000 miles away. Nor do I think Iran has these type of capabilities. If any other country on earth would have capabilities equal or potentially even more sophisticated than ours in some areas, would either be Russia or China. Then last night I was watching some news reports. Several different networks were saying openly that they're getting sighting reports from other places around the world. We're talking about these same similar drones are not just in New Jersey. Now they're starting to be seen in other parts of New York, Connecticut, Oregon, all across the United States. Also in Europe, particularly in Germany. They're getting reports coming in from China, from Russia, Moscow. They're getting reports from Australia, South America. It's really strange. If they're not ours and they're not somebody else's, and these things are appearing and showing up around the world, and that doesn't leave too many options. I can't imagine any company, if this thing was a big hoax, let's say they were launching flying cars or some new type of technology, can you imagine the trouble that they would be in with all the hysteria that they've caused? I don't see anybody doing that. I did a video earlier this year called Wicked Winds of Deceptions, and I talked about 3 wicked winds. One of them about how the rise of Christian nationalism in the U.S., and along with from the far right extreme, and then on the far left extreme, you have 15-minute cities for climate change agenda. And both the things they had in common, of course, was wanting to push a day of rest, such as a Sunday sacredness or a Sunday Sabbath, which we know, according to the Bible, is not the true Sabbath. Saturday is from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. However, the third wind of deception that I spoke about in that video was about the rise of AI and a fake second coming of Jesus. Whether it be from what we would think would be extraterrestrials coming to the earth, basically trying to make communication with us somehow, how would that change the dynamics of the entire planet? Because in order for the mark of the beast scenario to actually unfold in biblical prophecy, you got 3 things very particularly have to occur. Now, number 1, you have to have a one world government. And then you have to have a one world economy. But the third and the most important thing is, in order for the whole world to unite, because you can have one government, you can have everybody using, say, like cryptocurrency, which I totally believe. They got everybody using crypto for a long time, people making a lot of money in the DeFi space, now only to come in and regulate that technology. You've been seeing a lot of stuff on the news with XRP and with company Ripple, and about how that's the first cryptocurrency to go through SEC regulations, and they had all these lawsuits. And I don't think it was any coincidence. I think it was all planned so that they can now have a digital currency that can be regulated and globalized. That's one of the things that you have to have. But the third and most important thing in order to unite everyone out there is a one world religion. And you have Muslims, you have Hindus, you have Buddhists, you have Christians, you have Jews, you have atheists. So how would you unite the world under a one world religion? Well, you would have to have an event much bigger than any single religious group. In other words, and the Bible speaks about this, how Satan comes as an angel of light, how Jesus in Matthew 24 speaks about, if they tell you I'm in secret chambers or I'm in the desert, believe them not. As the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. He speaks very clearly in the 24th chapter of Matthew that we are not to be deceived. Deception is at the center point of end times prophecy. But he speaks about, if they tell you that I've come, and he talks about this plural in the desert. If they tell you I'm in secret chambers. In other words, mass appearings of the return of Christ. Or could it be that what we're seeing right now, if it's not the government's and it's not anybody else's government, it's not some part of some black ops secret military program, if Satan was going to come and fake the second coming of Christ, what a better way to do that than to make us think that he's from another planet, that these fallen angels are actually extraterrestrials, that they've come here to keep us from destroying ourselves. You know, they say right now we are as close as we've ever been to a third world war, to a nuclear war. This would be a perfect opportunity for some extraterrestrial force to show up and say, hey, we're here to protect you from destroying yourselves. You know, what you think of God or Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha or the Dalai Lama, we're all these things. And try to unite the world into some central religious power, and to unite with the doctrines of the left and the right and ancient societies and Satan himself, to fake the second coming of Christ and claim that what we think of God is actually extraterrestrials. And of course, they wouldn't just come and start showing up all at once. It would shock the world. They would do it gradually, like what we've been seeing for hundreds of years and what we've been seeing for the last 40, 50, 60 years since Roswell and so forth. And you look at a lot of the sightings and a lot of the things that people are talking about and some of the stuff that they describe. You know, we're used to seeing UFOs as orbs, as, you know, vehicles that travel really fast. But could it be that these crafts are mimicking what we would be used to, like commercial airlines and things? And of course, if they're going to fake it and make us think they've come from another planet when they're demonic forces, fallen angels, I'd also think maybe our government, certain people in our government, certain deep state people, not just in our government, but globally, have already been in contact with these demonic forces. They were already made aware, and this is a plan to bring about full disclosure. This is a plan to bring us into a new enlightened age and to bring us under a global one world religion. And when you think about it from that standpoint, a lot of the stuff starts making sense, because the eyewitnesses talk about these crafts that they don't appear to be normal drones. People are sending their drones up, even sheriff's departments and local law enforcement. And as soon as their drones get close, these things go dark. They can't be tracked. They can't be seen. The drones that are going up that are our drones, the batteries are instantly being drained and they're coming down. And this isn't just some individual citizen or someone making these reports. This is local law enforcement that are making these reports. Now people are coming forward that are in CIA, former FBI, that have high degree of intelligence, saying that these things are manifest in other places around the world. A lot of them are saying that they're coming out of the sea, they're going back into the ocean. All these things, if you look at it and you compare it to the UFO alien phenomenon, UAPs that we've been talking about, Congress has been talking about very heavily over the last couple of years, where they openly admit that the U.S. government is in possession of non-human biologicals, in possession of otherworldly tech, people very high up in NASA, people with governmental clearances, people that have been with DARPA. These different agencies are coming forward in congressional hearings openly saying that this is a fact. Now all of a sudden we're seeing all these supposed, quote, drone sightings out there. And so what if they're not drones? What if they are something otherworldly or non-human? I don't think that they're extraterrestrials from another planet. I do think that if they're not human, then they are demonic. Satan would be trying to trick us into believing that they are from another planet, that they've come here to save us from ourselves, to usher in a new age, and to have us worship them. Biblical prophecy tells us that Sunday will be the date that will be pushed for a false Sabbath, the day of the sun, not the seventh-day Sabbath according to the Bible. Ezekiel 20:12 said it's a sign to know that I'm your God and you're my people. And the mark of the beast all comes down to a test. It all comes down to worship. Will you worship God the way that God had outlined us to worship him, and when, which is on the seventh-day Sabbath? Or will you conform to society because you don't want to be canceled, you want to participate? I can see cryptocurrency being one of those ways where if you don't participate and follow the rules of society. So they can just shut your money off. Can't do that right now with fiat money. With crypto, everything is regulated, everything is controlled. So I see all these things coming together right now. This technology, the rise of cryptocurrency, the MAGA movement, to bring everything back to God. I support a lot of the policies, being a Christian myself, but I can also see how when you start bringing all these components together, you can see the formation of a one world government, a one world economy, and a one world religion. One of the reasons I think things that people are seeing may not be of human origin. If they are from the government, maybe they're staging them, maybe they're part of the alien deception. False signs, miracles, and wonders in the skies collaborated with advanced man-made technology in conjunction with real manifestations would fake the second coming of Christ. Personally, I've had my own experiences several times in my life. Most recently, I was in Houston. Me and my mother were outside one night, about 2013, 2014, and we saw what looked like balls of light or orbs. They were very strange, and we observed them moving across the sky slowly in like a pattern. They made no noise. They were pretty high up. I would have to say 400 or 500 foot up, but they looked like glowing balls of fire, but without flames. They moved from one side of the horizon to the other really slow. And this was around 9, 10 o'clock at night. And it wasn't just me and my mom that saw these things. There was a security guard. He was really kind of just freaked out by it. I mean, to this day, he still contacts me, sends me messages, and he always brings this event up as I think it was very traumatic to him because it was something he couldn't explain. And there was a dozen or more people outside that were also looking up at the sky, seeing these same things. And we counted a total of 7 of them. And they moved from one end of the sky very methodically, like in a pattern, and then they went out of our horizon range. We couldn't see them no more. And as soon as one would disappear, then another one would appear, and they would travel. I recorded them, I took pictures of them, I looked at them through binoculars, and they looked like a frame, but you could see through it. We didn't talk about drones back then. I don't know if anybody had drones other than the U.S. military back then, but definitely no commercial drones. And when you look at some of these video reports that are coming in right now from around the country, particularly in the New Jersey area, people that are seeing these drones, they zoom in on them with some high-tech cameras, and they look like the same orbs that I described. This was many years ago. So could it be that they're one and the same? Very strange. And the other thing too, people are like, well, you know, they've got flashing lights on them. You know, they've got the correct lighting for like an aircraft. Okay. If you were Satan and you were trying to trick us into believing that you were extraterrestrial, and extraterrestrials have been zipping around and flying through our space for a very, very long time, and we haven't been able to communicate with them, and supposedly, right? What a better way than to try to mimic our own aircraft? And maybe they're doing that with the intentions of trying to communicate with us. It's something to think about. We're at that age now. People are going up in outer space and taking trips. It's pretty normal stuff. What a better time for people to accept that we're not alone in the universe. And of course, the Bible tells us that we're not. God says, other worlds have I. He talks about these other worlds, but I don't believe he allows these unfallen worlds to visit the earth because we're in an imperfect state. And God is perfect, and God can't have imperfection running through the universe. That's why it's contained right here on the earth. As Christians, understand there's a great controversy, a great battle going on between good and evil, ultimately for the salvation of our souls. The Bible is specific that Satan and his fallen angels were cast out to the earth and kicked out of heaven. So could it be that we're now starting to see the manifestation of these demonic forces impersonating visitors from other worlds? And I think that's a real possibility that we need to consider. If you've seen anything like this, leave it in the comments. And I highly encourage you to look at my video on my channel called Wicked Winds of Deception, because I believe that the information in there is very pertinent to every Christian today. And I'll be making more videos as we get more information about what's going on. I appreciate y'all watching. If you made it this far, hey, do me a favor. If this channel's blessed you, share it, give me an amen, a like, a comment. helps our algorithm. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. My name's Harold Helm. I am making life changes, and you can too.